I wanted to give you a quick update on the 41CL. Remember, what is the 41CL? How many people here have a 41CL working, already installed in their machine? How many of you have 41CL boards, but you've never put it in a machine? All right, come on now. We gotta, it's a replacement for the CPU board and a HP-41C full nut, right, without the rounded edges and without the funky looking characters. It has all the HP-41CX functionality except for the time module. You need one of those extra separately plugged in, or one of the clones Monty's working on for that. It has 4K of flash, which can be 512 pages of 4K ROMs, and 128 pages of RAM, where you can copy 4K pages of stuff over to the RAM. Nearly all the pages are preloaded with every 41 ROM ever made or created, even in the last few weeks. It's full.
320 is the number.
320 ROMs taking up 512 pages. It's full, and so his last batch of these is going to have 1,024 pages.
Wait. What do you mean his last batch?
The boards are going EOL. Some of the chips are going EOL. So the last version 5 that he's sending off to the manufacturer next week, I think,
The memory chip
is going to be it.
That has an RTC in it?
What?
The D5 have an RTC in it?
No.
No?
He's making a second one.
It also includes a 50-time turbo, so that's really sweet. Why would you want one? I mean, hey, come on, it's 41C. I don't really need to have any more about the presentation. You really should already have one of these. You get access to new ROMs as people create them nearly every month. And so the question is, like what? So these are new ROMs that have come out more or less in the last year, since our last get-together. Formula Evaluation is a real exciting ROM that I'm real excited about. This is like a month old. Here's an example. The Secant Method using this module. You put your initial guesses for root finding in X and Y, and with the formula for what you're trying to find the root in alpha. You set flag 10 if you want to see the successive approximations, old PPC style. And so here's the program. Solve, you store, the store string stores the string in alpha that you're going to be evaluating into like 4 memory registers, because it's 24 character alpha, it takes 4 memory registers. Then you got this loop, eval z. That's a function that's in the formula evaluation module. It evaluates alpha, pointing at the stack register. So if there's an X in alpha, it's taking the value out of X. If there's a Z in alpha, it's taking the Z register, whatever. It evaluates it and stores the result in stack register Z without disturbing any of the rest of the stack, based on what's in alpha. And then X's and exchanges and evaluates the same formula, storing the result in T. So it's done really the 2 guesses. The 2 guesses are in X and Y, and the results are up there in Z and T. You then put the formula in here to see essentially what the change is. So you're looking to see how close am I. And so you have this new formula, and it evaluates that string, puts it in X, and essentially if it's the same result as it had last time, you're done, because it didn't change. Otherwise, you recall the string you stored here, and you just loop through it again. That's incredible what that does from a 41C functionality. That would, I mean, what would that have done in PPC ROM days? It's just bizarre. But the formula evaluation allows an equation library to be set up for the 41C. You use an extended memory text file to put all your formulas in there. And essentially, you can scroll through various formulas, and it'll take care of all the programming for you using a program that's been written that essentially does that same kind of thing, solving for the unknown. It's really tremendous. I really love that. Total recall. Angel Martin continues to do all kinds of stuff with this. It's called the Warp Core revision, Star Trek. And it adds this time an execute plus with an autofill capability. You essentially key execute alpha and put a character, and it starts the search for what function you want at that point. And you scroll through them. When you see the one you want, hit the execute key, and it takes it.
Nice.
So that's a really sweet little prompt. The last function, the ability to continue executing things without going through 10 or 20 keystrokes to get to it, now can do the last 5. Along with while functions, such as is z less than or equal to t, is xyz not equal to 0, where it can be stacked, data registers, indirect, who knows what. A test for 0 or not equal to 0 to anything, right? A select and a case statement. And even strangely, he set up an emergency 5 data registers in a special buffer. If you just don't have any room to store a number somewhere, you put it in this buffer. This is one I have fun with. The HP-67 Fun ROM is real at last. I talked about this last year. with the help of Dieter and Robert from the HP Museum Forum and Angel for giving me a birthday present by setting up the ROM from the code we sent him. We now have a ROM. It's got a 45-page manual. So I was responsible for the manual and some of the easy programs. I didn't do the massive stuff. Robert really was fabulous. I tried to get him to come to a conference. He lives in the Northwest, and maybe he can come next year. He did the Star Trek and Space War ports from the HP-67 days and put them over into the 67 Fun ROM. It contains games of 1130. That was a real popular game for the 65. We now have a version of that running. 2636, artillery, battleship, chess, Valentin's HP-67 chess program that was in the PPC journal. Chuck-a-Luck golf. I mean, most of these don't have existing 41 approximations, or didn't. And also an algebraic operating system. Joe, that's your brother's from the PPC days. So it's at 50 times speed. You can run the 41C in algebraic mode and not know it's doing anything. It's really great. And some of the digits. That was a filler.
When I run a calculator in algebraic mode, I don't know that it's doing anything.
That's user error. It runs great on the 41CX emulator, so you can always play it on your phone if you don't want to have something to put it in. 67 Fun 2 is on the horizon. It's going to have bowling. Rock, paper, scissors. Maybe we'll expand that to, what is it, Lizard Spock or something. Follow Me, Minefield, Othello, the new Othello that got written and posted to the museum a few months ago, and more. Partial differential equations. There's a ROM for that. 10 different types of partial differential equations to solve some diffusion equations. That's about the limit of what I know about that. Differential geometry ROMs, such as the curvature and torsion of a parametric curve. Wild stuff. Solve and integrate ROM. He allowed the recursive ability for f-root and f-integrate, function root and function integrate. Added recursion. It bothered him. He couldn't do it. An XROM ROM. Essentially, M-code routines do anything you would ever think of doing. Popping return stacks, all sorts of stuff. And it's also got that buffer for 5 registers. The Ladybug Rom. That's essentially a version of a 16C type of ROM. I haven't used it, but it's a very customizable integer binary calculator. Turns the 41 into that. There's updates to several of the existing ROMs with some programs that, thanks to Jackie and Jake's earlier efforts, we have now had ability to get from a listing in the PPC journal into electronic form. Remember the 2 or 3 years ago now, I guess, all the text listings that you can get on those. Well, I went through and looked, what are the big programs in the PPC journal that aren't anywhere? They only live in the PPC journal, so I thought they need to be in the 41CL. So we went through and found in the test statistics solution book ROM, there was some space. So we dropped in a few ROMs there, linear exponential curve fit. PPC9 is our statistics programs from the PPC journal, which included a critical path method for networking, least squares regression to degree 8 for Namir, curve fit statistical inference programs, CV+, matrix linear regression routines, and all sorts of goodies. What's next with the 41CL? Well, the new board with twice the storage capacity is coming. Sylvain's going to talk about the auto update, which is very exciting to me. Very, very exciting. It's great. New ROMs. I'm hoping to get some helpers on the museum to take some of the extended precision programs that used to dominate the PPC journal and get them converted over to the 41 so we can see 105-digit signs. It was important enough that we all did it 30, 40 years ago in the PPC journal. Let's let them live on, right? Programs to do double precision square root, etc. I mean, why not? Why not? You know, why not do all that stuff in there? What we need to find somebody that can install boards for a fee. Somebody out there as a business model ought to be able to say, I will install this CL board in your 41 for, I don't know, $50.
It's in the packet.
We're going to find out more about that at some point, I know, right? Because that's the reason many people haven't done it. Oh, I loved it. I got the board. I'm scared to death. I would be. I didn't do mine. So, I mean, if we can get them into the 41s, there'll be more 41CLs. One more.
And that has to be a person who opens the machine and says, oh, we've got a broken post. They can repair the post. In other words, not just I can open it up and plug in the board and close it again. They have to have 41 knowledge, and that's...
So you're saying Jeff?
Well, Jeff can do it, right? But we're going to have apparently another option here. We'll hear about it in a little bit. Or someone to update boards for a fee if you don't try the approach that will be talked about in about 3 minutes. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Next.